Hello students, this is Radha, Assistant Professor of English working in Vidadi. Welcome to my session 25, Module 4, Pablo Neruda's poem on keeping quiet. So in my previous slides I had presented you on, or I had discussed on the silence and who are all those who have to maintain silence, and because of silence, what is that? And because of silence, how is that it's going to reflect into the society as a whole? So now let us just remember once again, let us recall. So in the third and in the fourth stanza, we come to know that there is a fisherman who represents the oppressed class. As we know, that oppressor class. Why? Because this oppressor is emotionless. Is it not so? He doesn't have any emotions or any feelings. He just has emotions and feelings only to those whom he likes. Whom he dislikes? No, he will never have. Okay? And so, it's cool. See, it can be understood as emotionless means they feel very less to the others. Okay, so much is enough. And the whales here represent the oppressed class. So when these fishermen, the oppressor, stops what is that? Oppressing or stops his destructive things, violent cruelty, or dehumanizing the other, okay, then when he stops, in a sense, he has to stop, and when he goes to silence, in a sense, when he sits silently, what happens? He gives space for the oppressed also. He gives the taste of water, free life is. He enjoys his human rights. Oppressor also realizes his wrong deeds, and he may also embrace a life of a peaceful life, a happy life. Where? Happy life, peaceful life, in what sense? By treating equally all of them. No poor, no rich, no black, no white, no Asian. We understood. So all are, no Nazi, no Jew, all are one. He comes to think in his silence, in this way. And so he embraces, the poet says, universal brotherhood. And we also have got man gathering salt, who is least bothered about his wounds. He is bothered about even he is reaching himself for others. He wants to reach others for others' difficulties. His difficulty is least bothered about. Have you understood? So here he stands for humanity. Now, as I said, with this, the fisherman, the oppressor, may sit in silence, and so he may also wish to live or pronounce universal brotherhood. Let us now come to the next stanza. Again, it says about silence. It's not again. The whole poem is about silence, and he so nicely represents that silence becomes a powerful catalyst here. We have to imagine, yes, silence has got much power than any weapon you can exhibit. You are exhibiting. Okay? So let us now read the poem. Let's come to the last, but the next stanza in the sense. Sixth. If we were not so single minded about keeping our lives moving, for once could do nothing, perhaps a huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Now I will count up to 12 and you keep quiet and I will go. Okay, this is what the poet, this is how the poet or the poem ends. So in this stanza, we come to know that he says single-minded. Why single-minded? Is not at all happy with the people who are so busy, who are so self-centered, who just are least bothered about others. They know that something is happening bad to that person next to him. But yes, why is that I have to poke or indulge in that? Let me have my own life. It's his life. So if he wants to get that kind of life, let me not go, let me not aspire. So that is the tendency. For example, just what to say, the present time example. When we are moving in the vehicle, someone gets hurt. What do? We just, sometimes we won't even peep or look into. We just move. Okay, fine. He will get away with that. See, this is what we are doing today. He's telling that, he's requesting, he's calling us. Please stop that. Please stop that. Okay? Please stop that. Don't be so self-centered. Don't think that today, yes, yeah, you are happy, you are not with any kind of untoward incident, and so you just don't move. Help others. Okay? So he's very angry with that. Self-centered, he said. Single-minded. What is that you're doing with self-centered and single-minded? You are destroying your own life. You are destroying your own life. You are dying every day. You are not living. You are dying every day. Live, he says. Please live. And so, for this, if you want to enjoy a living life, not a dying life, in the sense survival. Okay? Let us live a life. To that, what is that you have to do? Spend the time for yourself. Spend time for yourself. And here comes the silence. He says, perhaps a huge silence. Okay? Huge silence might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves and of threatening ourselves with death. So we have not understood really, in true sense, what I am. If you want to understand what I am, then come. Stop that. Self-centered thinking, single-minded thinking. It says people here. Self-centered thing. Come, sit. Sit in silence. Meditate yourself. Give space for yourself. Think of what you have done, what you have taught, what you have talked about. Think of your actions. Think of your good and bad. Okay? I think that will help you to move from this sad life to a better, happy life. Okay? And so for this, he gives an example. What is that? He says, look, this earth or the planet has allowed us and has given us more than we had thought of. Let us enjoy it, let us have it, let us feel it in a good way. Why is that? One has to have more, one has to have less, or one has to suffer and one has to enjoy. No, let us all of us enjoy. If you want to think in that way, please stop your self-centered thoughts. Please stop. It's only for me. Stop that. Sit in silence, meditate in silence. Think of what you have done. Don't misuse. Planet has given us abundant more, not to misuse, to be in limitations, to be content with what one has. Let me be happy with what I have got. That's enough. When I ask for more, everything erupts. Means we are moving in a wrong direction. Let us put a limit for that. Everything has to have some limits. Let us not cross that limits. Have you understood? So, not to misuse, to be happy and content with what one has, not to destroy others, to have a peaceful planet, to create a peaceful society, and thereby the world. Come, sit in silence. Think of yourself. If you sit in silence, yes, everything, all your, what to say, ill thoughts or bad thoughts or evil thoughts just gives away from you. You become a human being. You become a man with values. Okay? And so he gives an example. Don't say that it won't happen. It will, yes, will happen. How? You can't say, how is this? Can we do in this globalization or globalization, whatever the term we use for? Will that happen? We are running behind everything. Technology is the best thing now. Can we do this? Yes, you can. He says here, he gives a very beautiful example of spring season. He says, perhaps the earth, again, who is going to teach you this? Who is going to say that, yes, it happens, it can happen and it will happen if you give time for yourself. Okay? See, come. Perhaps the earth can teach us as when everything seems dead and later proves to be alive. Yes. What happens in the spring? We get new leaves. Is it not? So before that, what happens? All the dry leaves fall. Yes. The badness. What does the silence give? The silence allows the dry leaves, means the sad part, the evil part, to move from us. It allows a man to be better, to be cultured. In the sense, cultured in what? In values, respecting other human being. Okay? And so he says, like spring, yes, it happens. Yes, everyone do wrong. Let us understand that, yes, I have done wrong. Let us put a stop here. Let me not continue. It happens only when you sit in silence. And so, when you sit in silence, you realize your wrong things, and later what happens? That leads you to a better man or an individual. The society changes, and in return, the whole universe will have a peaceful atmosphere. There is a better understanding between both the fellow beings. I have mentioned here changes an organic individual. What is organic individual? An organic individual has organic intellectual. If I have something good, yes, let me share and let me accept even others. See, when you do that, what happens? When we try to reach out others and respect other feelings, other cultures, automatically the other also does the same. And this leads to a peaceful atmosphere, a happy atmosphere. And that allows us to live in harmony. And so he says, silence does all this. It reinvents our oneself. Reinvents. I didn't know that I had such good qualities in him. Always I used to burst out with everything bad. Okay? But when I sat in silence, when I thought for myself, I reinvented that I am too good and I also can do good and be good to others. I learned this by being silent. Okay? This is what I learned in the sense the poet is trying to say in silence. This is how we are going to change. We all become one. Okay? We reinvent our oneself. I really didn't know that I had such good qualities. Yes, I got to know only when I sat silently and thought for myself. I gave space for myself. Okay, and so Pablo Neruda have to conclude. Stresses on silence, a silence that is too powerful. Silence has the greatness to change the fragmented mindset of the human being. Fragmented, destructive. Is not sure of himself. Okay, and so he's trying some kind of things to set his, what is that? Thoughts, all his power or his ideas. Okay, a fragmented mindset. Silence has greatness to change, and this kind of mindset who is struggling to be in power, who wants to do all kind of bad things, one or the other way, fragmented mindset, he'll be changed. He's going to change when he maintains silence. Third one is self-realization is the best valued cure for any foolhardy actions. Before I do, if I feel that, yes, somewhere something wrong is going on, you please sit, think, realize yourself, realize. When you realize yourself, what happens? Your foolhardy actions, all the wrong actions or the evil actions you are going to do, yes, will have the other way around. It will be best valued action. It comes in the form of best valued actions. Okay? So, on overall, silence helps you to live in peace. It reinvents humanity. We are for each other. We are all one. We respect each other. I respect you, you respect me. Look, that itself is reinvents humanity. I just want to, this is COVID-19 pandemic. It's something that even now we find it very hard to think about social distancing, a corona patient not to be seen. We have to be far from them. It is very horrible to think the sight of. And so when Pablo Neruda, or when you read the poem, and what is that? About the silence, you will realize, yes, everything is for the betterment of the society. We have to work for. Before saying thank you, I just thought to come out with this picture. I don't know how do you understand this, and it's left to you. Your Anguli Mala's story. Buddhism, in Buddhist story, if you have heard Angulimala, before concluding or saying thank you for you, I just want to say the importance of stillness, that is silence. See, Angulimala, if you have heard, you know, he used to cut the thumbs as his teacher wishes, 1,000 thumbs. He starts garlanding. Okay, which every day he used to kill a person, cut his thumb, and then stitch into his garland, in the form of a necklace. Now, once Buddha happens to come to that village, and the village people, I am telling just like that. Okay, I am not going in detail about the story. Why I am narrating this story is to make you know the powerfulness of the silence. Okay, so Buddha comes to that village, and happens to see none of them in the village, and one shouts, "Look, here there is Angulimala, and he is going to kill you. Better be safe." Okay, fine. He said, Buddha just is walking. Angulimala happens to see him, and he shouts, cries on Buddha, saying to stop. Okay? Just concentrate here. He tells Buddha to stop. And Buddha, yes, says. Again he cries Buddha to stop. Buddha says, look, I am still. You have to stop. Are you understanding? I am still. It is you who have to stop. No, I am running, but you are not. I am not able to reach you. Again Buddha says, no, I am still. I have stopped. You stop. Okay. Finally, Angulimala gets tired, he is exhausted, and he says, I'm sorry. And then, finally, Buddha takes him to his monastery. He says, now he becomes monk there. Angulimala realizes the value of silence. He sits in silence. He realizes his wrong deeds. Finally admits what he has done. He becomes one as with the monks, with the Buddhist people. The king comes. The king is just looking for him. Okay? Just to kill him. The king comes. They come to know that he is in Buddhist monastery. He comes and he asks Buddha, and Buddha finally tells about Angulimala. He shows even Angulimala sitting among monks. And then the king says, See, I just wanted him to change or kill him, punish him through violence. But it didn't happen but it happened to you. You just made him change through silence, through meditation. You have changed such a destructive, violent, cruel man to a human being. Okay? So that is the power of silence. Students, I think you have understood the poem. Okay? Thank you.